Hello, XImporter. Basically, it allows you to take characters and import FBX animations into Game Guru. Game Guru requires special files called DBOs. One thing you'll notice here as well is that the DBOs, I've give them icons. I was getting fed up with the blank white pages, so I've assigned icons to them now, which if you install XImporter will automatically do that for you. Okay, so it creates DBOs. So the character itself, like I say, was created in Make Human, and then we needed some animations. So all I did was the OBJ I uploaded to Mixamo, and then looked for animations. The base animation, I always use idle as the base. You can use whatever base you want, but I recommend the idle, so that when he's stood in the editor, he's just doing this, basically, being idle. You need 6 or 7 animation sets. Like I say, the basic one, idle. You need to create yourself a list and list the animations. So we need idle, walk, run, jump, attack, the hit frame, hurt and death. These numbers here are the actual frame ending numbers. So the idle I've got had actually 302 frames, not 98. So you need to make a list of the ending frame numbers for all of them. So for instance, the idle, your base animation, when you download it, you have to download it with the skin. So save it with the skin. The walk animation, if we just choose walk, and I pick any of the walks, just the standard walking, that's actually the walk that I used. Make sure that you select in place so that he's walking on the spot. As you can see, it's 31 frames, and that's the walk animation that I've used for him. One change I did make, if you look as he's walking, his hands actually go inside his legs, so we can increase the character arm space so that his arms actually miss his legs. Just a little bit more. There we go, so that looks more natural, so his arms are not actually going inside his legs. So 31 frames. So go through them all. The attack frame, this is a civilian guy, but I include the attack frame in case you want to change him to an enemy. So the attack is only required if the character becomes an enemy. I'll explain more about that later. So if we look at an attack, I'll tell you what, we'll go with a punch while he hasn't got any weapons. So if we go for a hook punch or something, that one. So he's actually hitting the character. If you want him hitting with the other arm, just use the mirror, hit with the other arm. So he's a left-hander. As you can see, we've got 65 frames on there. It's not quite the attack I use, but that would become 65. The hit frame, what I call the hit frame, is if you look carefully, if we pause that, as he's coming in for the punch, which is here, he will strike the player at a certain point, which I would say about there, which is frame 31. So his fist will hit the player on frame 31. So the hit here would become frame 31 if I was using that animation. Okay. When you download any of the other animations that are not your base animation, make sure you do them without skin. Once you've got all your animations, you'll have them in an order like this, and this is how they will look. You can tell this one is with the skin because of the size of it. It would be the one with the base with the skin will be the largest. The rest of them are just animation data, but that's got data for the actual skins and weighting and all that kind of stuff. So once we have those, we have to get them into Game Guru. The way we do that we basically need an FPE to work from. So to get the FPE, we need to import the base animation. So if we go to import model, go to the actual character animations, the base is this, you select that, Game Guru do its thing. Okay, so the first thing we need to change is the shader type. It has to be anim, and that's the first thing you should do before you select the textures. There's a bug that if you don't select it, the character disappears. So let's add all these textures, which are DVS. This is the skin color, so pick up the skin color. This one is his shoes. He is a multi-material character as well, just to test to make sure all that would work. It did. Eyebrows, it's also separate, but I could have made it all one, but I wanted to see if it will do multi-materials without a problem, which it seems to do. Some clothes, and his eyes are also separate, and his eyelashes. Yep. So there's our character, civilian character. So now we save him. I'll just save him on the desktop. Civilian. Save. We go to the desktop. Is here, and there's the files required for Game Guru. So as you can see, all the materials are there in the FPE. The texture references are all done, everything's done, there's no animations, and this is where XImporter comes in now. So now that we have that, we need now first to choose the FP that we've just created with Game Guru. If I go to the test, choose a civilian, load it up. Now I want this character to be a civilian, hence why I said civilian. If you notice, we've got an attack frame here when the character attacks the player. So with a civilian, we don't have an attack, so that is actually removed. If we want to make him an enemy, then we add the attack frames, but I want him a civilian. The other thing we've got now is pathfinding. The pathfinding, we can assign waypoints and he'll follow a waypoint, or we could just have him wandering around the map, doing wherever he wants. So I'm going to go for the free roaming. This here is your animation list, and what we have to select here are the DBOs that we created for the character. So what we need to do is create the DBOs. So if I create a folder, you'll probably find it easier if you do create a separate folder for your DBOs, because it puts a lot of information in that we don't require. I'll show you that now. So if we go back to Game Guru, get the rest of the animation. So all we need now is the walk, change to anim, save entity, go to the DBO folder and call it what it is. So civilian _ walk. Be as descriptive as possible. spell him right. Be as descriptive as possible to make it easier to import the actual DBOs. So if we do them all, that was the walk, run, change to anim, save entity, change this to run, save it, go through, do all your DBOs. I've already done the DBOs, so save a bit of time. I go to my entity bank, user, civilian, you can see all my DBOs are here. Copy those. Paste them here. The extra files I was talking about are these here, the BMPs and the FPs. Those are not required for the DBO animation, so they can be deleted. All you need is a list of animations in DBO format. Okay, so once you've got all those, we need to load them into here. So this one, the idle, is that one. That. Total frames, this list here, 302. Choose the walk. Total frames on that is 31. The run, 21. Jump, 65. There's no attack because he's a civilian, so go to hurt. This is the character getting hurt, not the player. 46, and his death animation is 110 frames. The other option we have here is what animation plays in the Game Guru editor. And like I say, the default is idle. I'm going to leave that, but you can choose any of those. It's entirely up to you. But once we have all this information, we need to calculate the frame set. And here's the frame set. Once they're selected, it will pick up your FPE. We have to now update it. So if we go to the original FPE, you can see here there's no animation data at all. Everything else is there is correct, but there's no animation data. So if we go and update the FPE, and we now go back to it, we should see animation data, which there is. So there's the animation set, and here's the details for the editor. And the animation that we're playing is number 1, which is the idle. And it's also put the name of the script it's going to create in there as well. Oh, the other thing it does do, before it updates, it creates a back file of the original FPE. So if there's ever an issue with this, or you have to start again, delete that file and rename that to FPE, and it'll be your default FPE again. Okay, so once we've updated that, the character type chosen is civilian, which it is. I want to confirm civilian. It'll give me the option to create the lure, and there's the lure. The lure can be edited before it's saved. So if you want to make a change to the hurt health percentage, I've just increased that to 40. We can do that. We save, put it in script bank or whatever. I'll just put it in this test for now. So there's the lure. Save that. Saved. And then you can just load up Game Guru. I will actually copy that and load the character I already created earlier. So I just got to put that script into my script bank. Okay. So now we can test him in Game Guru. Start up Game Guru. I'm using the latest June fixes. I've got him in my Enter Bank under civilian. Drop him on the map, playing his idle animation. Lad. Give myself a gun. Colt. So test the death animation. So if I run this, he should run away from me. If we just leave him for a minute, he'll calm down and start walking around. There we go. Now he's walking. He should change direction. Point. Back. There we go. So if we just test. And that's it. Thank you. Bye.